kind of a big upset, Weber State knocking off Idaho. I wanted to get your guys' reaction and kind of ask, can the Vandals bounce back from that and make a deep playoff run? Why don't we start with you, Mark, and go around on that?
Yeah, it's kind of funny the way you phrased that, Weber State upsetting Idaho, which is something we might not have thought about at the beginning of the year, or especially last year and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's back-to-back kind of iffy performances for Idaho, and I mean, maybe you can blame it a little bit still on the hangover from Montana and Montana State, but eventually you gotta turn it around. I mean, they got Idaho State this week. I guess what was concerning about that game was they gave up 31 points to a Weber State team that's not exactly, an offensive juggernaut like Montana State can do. So, and then I guess the other question would be Anthony Woods missed the game with an injury, and last week they said he's questionable. I mean, he's not for certain going to play this week, so we don't know when he's going to get back.
Yeah, and he's been a major X factor for them. That's definitely something to watch. How about you, Fritz? Just thoughts on that loss for the Vandals, and can they bounce back, make a playoff run, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I was a little surprised that it was a tough loss on the road. They didn't drop below the top 8 in either poll, I don't believe, which puts them in line for a top 8 seed and a bye. And a couple weeks from now, they could have Anthony Woods back and healthy. I think they'll get through into December before they get somebody who can really match up with them. If they get a home playoff game, which I think they will either way, but I think it'll be after Thanksgiving that they do, because I expect them to beat Idaho State. I expect them to bounce back and play solid. They still have my pick for the MVP, Giovanni McCoy, playing for them. I think they'll be fine this week, and I think they'll be fine 2 weeks from now too.
No, well said. Hard to write that team off. How about you, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a couple of miscues, the 2 fumbles. Fritz mentioned that 71-yard punt return, a couple of not converting on 4th down. I think it's something that they'll respond from. Obviously, Anthony Brown missed the game. But I think they need a pretty solid performance this week against Idaho State to really get that mojo back flowing as they head into the playoffs.
No, well said. I think, Vandals played a really tough schedule this year. You kind of wonder if down the stretch, having guys missing games like Woods, it kind of got worn down a little. This is a good opportunity to get back on track. Rivalry game this weekend at the Kibbe Dome. It's going to have a great atmosphere, a little playoff kind of atmosphere with Idaho State having a little bounce-back season. So this is a good chance to get back on track for Idaho, and I do think as long as McCoy's under center and Hayden Hatton's out there, they can't compete with anybody. So definitely not writing them off for the playoffs. We've talked before on the show, sometimes losses come at the right time. This is an opportunity to get on track for the postseason, kind of make up for those miscues. So I'm definitely not writing this team off.